Show.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the 580 Show, episode 216. Myself, and he's back, Jason Frawley. What's
What's up,
up?
ladies and gentlemen?
Yep,
I'll call it a comeback. I was never gone.
yep. But yes, we got Frawley back. Dante's gone all weekend. He was streaming. We'll just start there, but he was streaming the PSL East Coast qualifiers.
Yep.
I thought his stream went great.
I like the graphics. Graphics look cool. I always like to see the differences in the streams when people put different formats and like different what's the word, platforms up, right? I told him I would like to see the clock count down instead of up because I think it makes for a better appeaser. And I get so frustrated with streams that don't have weights. Like I need to know the weight that people are doing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I get so frustrated. You don't know what they're doing.
For sure. I thought the stream was great. I think the graphics are awesome. Obviously, it's a little bit easier when you only have like a smaller amount of people. So I think you have that like at your disposal. I think the show ran a little long, but I think it was just because there was so much resetting. Like that yoke and sandbag, I think there were a couple people that finished.
Yeah, and that was a brutal event too. It looked like it was pretty heavy, which I mean, for a PSL qualifier, that makes sense. When people don't finish the event, there causes that time for reset. So for sure,
Yeah, I mean, and that's a hard one to reset, like a yoke every time on stall mats. That's
for sure.
We've had to deal with that before. So
Yeah,
what did you think about the debut of the laser?
loved it. Loved
I think
that.
that's cool, man.
So funny enough, I love the laser. It takes the human error out. CJ talked about that on the commentary too, which was cool.
They did a great job, by the way. I want to say that. Yeah. I thought CJ and Mark did really well together.
Yeah.
I thought I think they did a great job. So that was the whole live stream.
Talked about the details too, of how close those times were together, and it's good to know that like it wasn't a human running that stopwatch because of how close it was. So they actually had definitive differences because it was a machine. So that's cool. And funny enough, on the other event, which I was in support of this before, I didn't like the buzzer or the button for the yoke this time. I liked it for the Rogue Invite. I didn't like it for this one. So
well, okay. So I like the button. Yeah. But I hated the placement of the button.
Yes, that's exactly what I did.
It makes no sense because you're going forward, all your momentum, you got a what, however much weight on your back or doing whatever you're doing, and then you got to go backwards.
Should be in front of you.
Yeah, just be right in front.
To the side or something, because I can see in front of you. You don't want to step over the sandbag, right? I get that.
Right. Yeah, maybe that was their thinking.
I like the concept. I just apply it better. That's all.
I was really surprised how many dropouts they had for that show.
Yeah.
Like, I think like the 80s were supposed to have like 7 guys or 8 guys.
How many ended up going?
4.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, I was a little bit surprised by like it's a regional and PSL is still figuring it out, and you forget they're still so new. But like it didn't feel like a professional strongman league to me, except the stream. Just like there wasn't that many people. Hopefully they can find a way to get more turnout at an actual regional.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think the timing's too bad. I mean, people are doing the Arnold a month out, so those people you're gonna lose, but. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I don't know how you encourage participation. I mean, I like the weight class strongman, even as an open guy. I like it. I enjoy it. I really liked the 125 class today. That was probably the class I was most interested in because I wanted to see how the new class would do, and I liked it. It's good. I hope it can grow. But it's tough because there was only 3 guys. So
yeah, it's like it's hard to like justify a new class if guys don't start showing up.
Sure, and I think other than, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the 90s and the 105s are the only ones that had real good showings.
Yeah, they both did.
So they both had pretty big classes. So
yeah, I mean, like the when 125 guys were supposed to have 6 guys and only 3 showed up.
Sure.
It's tough, man. Like you're trying to get
Yep.
this new class. Hopefully, I mean they have it at the Arnold, so that could be a reason why.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the online qualifiers look for PSL. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's either going on right now. I think it's going on right now.
Yeah. No, was it the 64s in the 90s can do chaos too? It's like
Yeah,
a double
it's a
submission. So
joint because that's the show they run.
yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. That's cool to see some collaboration. But no, I mean, in general, with the show, I didn't think there was anything crazy noteworthy. I mean, it's
No, I mean, it went how I would expect it to go. Some people were trying to punch up. Some people have been there before. Some people are clear qualifiers. So, like, that's all good. That's all what a regional should be.
yeah,
So, I like
only
that. I like the
yeah,
event selection, honestly. The duck walk is still goofy, but it's nice to see different events, So,
yeah. It's hard to look cool doing a duck walk. I've still never had to do a duck walk in a contest.
I hope I never do.
One event I've never had to do. I know
I
I will
hope I
eventually, I'm
never.
sure, but yeah. My one event I've never got to do that I really want to do is a fickle finger still.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Clearwater Classic in Florida today had that, and I was kicking around like going down to Florida for the weekend just to get out of the winter, and
dude, that
I
show
was like,
was
oh, that'd be so
awesome.
cool. Yeah,
That show looked so I had a client do that and it
did
was
you?
only his second show ever and he's not really like hasn't like fully committed to strongman, so he just like jumped in. He
Yeah,
got second out of like 12 or 15 in the novice guys. And the fickle fingers looked awesome.
yeah.
That whole
That
show
was
looked
just like a
awesome.
fun event. That would be a fun event to do.
Yeah. I'd be curious what people's like event they haven't got to do in strongman is. Because I
Yeah,
think everyone's got like one. Mine is definitely fickle fingers.
yeah,
My one I never want to do is duck walk.
yeah. I
But
don't like walk either, for sure.
yeah, that's the one problem too with a regional that doesn't get filled up, like back to the PSL thing, is because then sometimes like classes are less represented. You get those couple guys or girls that get in, and it's like it's no offense to them, but they're probably not at the quality of an athlete that should be at the Pro Strongman League finals. And that's no knock on them. That's PSL's job to fill a regional. And I'm sure
Yeah,
Tyler would say the same thing. It's
yeah.
just
And
find a
it's tough too when you do different events like that. So you need a decent enough size of a class to show the actual separation of the events too. Because like if somebody really struggles with the first implement for whatever reason, and then there's one other person, there's 3 total people in the class, one other person's really good at the event, the disparity is kind of like uninviting and not really entertaining. So that makes it hard for the new event too. So it makes it tough when you can't fill up a real class, like when you have
yeah.
a big body for all the classes. So for sure, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
that's one problem in women's strongman right now, like in some of those classes, is the disparity, like at OSG, like the
Yeah,
disparity between the top. Like if you
yeah,
take the 73 women this year, and this is no knock on anyone, but it's like it's Erin Murray and Nancy Johnson. And I mean, there's really quality athletes, but it's like it just speaks to how far. So that kind of takes away from it sometimes, like to what you were saying, like when someone's so good or a couple people are so good, it's like kind of screws everything up. So it happens everywhere, but
sure,
yeah.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, that Britain's strongest was today. I know you said you
Yep,
watched some.
yep,
Um, Luke Stoltman won. It's very weird to me that it doesn't get mentioned, like anything with like like I don't want to say conspiracy.
yeah. There's not really.
Everything. I mean, and I get it's like a personal thing. I don't really expect them to mention on like the live stream, but it does just. It's crazy, like the social media world and like the news world we live in, where like stuff happens and then it's just next story, next story, next story. So it's like that
That's
was so
definitely
big in strongman for 24 hours.
that's definitely for sure true. I mean, he was definitely the best one there today. Like, there's no question there.
For sure. There's some
Yeah,
studs there. It's pretty cool.
yeah. No, that's one thing I wanted to talk about was like some of the up and coming guys that were doing very well. Patty Haynes had a good show. He just can't overhead press. You know,
Yeah.
he gets a rep on the log. He's on the podium. So
Right.
had a really good stone run. He did really well on I think every event except the overhead. I think he was top 4 in every event. So he's a guy. I think he went. I think he was in a giant show last year, one maybe. And he did great, and you could tell he was just newer, but that was the big thing that was holding him back. But I mean, he missed the podium by half a point today. So
Yeah. You know Andrew Flynn?
yeah,
Tom Hibbert coaches him,
okay,
and he made a post about how he's a natural athlete.
really, wow,
And like he made a post, it's actually pretty cool. Like he made a post about like his like supplementation routine. I don't know if he's still a natural, but what he did like as he coached him to like optimize like performance as a natural athlete. I thought that was crazy.
yeah, that's cool, and that's I mean he podiumed. You know, that's a really good performance from his part. So.
Yeah.
I was kind of bummed to see Luke Richardson drop out. I had high hopes for him. I thought he was going to do very well. I don't actually know why he dropped out, so if anyone knows, that'd be great for you guys to share. Shane Flowers was doing pretty well. Adam Bishop had a good show on his comeback.
Yeah.
So he had the Achilles tear. He's coming back. I think he won the deadlift fighter, if I remember right.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, Luke's one of those guys like it's weird because like right when I was getting into strongman, like just kind of like figuring everything out, like the first couple years, Luke
Mhm.
Richardson was like that next guy.
Yep, the
He
future.
was like supposed to be, so it's like I always like hope someone like that figures it out because it's like, this sport is riddled with so many injuries and
Sure.
frustrations and stuff like
Yeah,
that. That
he
sucks,
found 2
man.
podiums last year, so you could definitely say he was on his way back. Now, well, like I said, I don't know why he dropped out of the show. Hopefully, it wasn't anything major. I'd hate to see like something go bad that would affect his comeback even more. So,
Right. It's
yeah, I
a
mean, overall, it was pretty entertaining.
it's a pretty stacked lineup when you look at it. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I thought it was cool. Like
Yeah,
you get that many. You get like. I just wish there were more stuff like that with like how they do like the lighting and the smoke in the arena. Like
yeah, the
it's really
production
really
value.
cool.
Giants Live knocks the production value out of the water. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like when they get, they did the opening credits and Colin Bryce showed like he was getting the crowd ready to go, and like they have all that stuff nailed down, and
Yeah.
it's really entertaining and it's worth it to watch. And they do great with the post event interviews and all that. So like
Yeah.
it's so easy to watch, and you get why so many people are interested with the way they present it.
Yeah. I wish that like some more of that presentation could carry to OSG. Now, like
Yeah,
obviously, like you can't do like the individualized stuff because you have 400
right.
plus athletes, but like just some of it with like,
Yeah,
and I
it's
think they try to do some, but
I think I don't remember if Nico talked about it when he was on here, but when he said he's like we have the model where the athletes fund the show, which is OSG, and
yeah,
then we have the model where we can generate income, which is Giants Live.
right,
And they just with OSG it's so tough because you're trying to get so many competitors to fund the show
right.
that you lose some of that production value, which
Yeah, for sure.
it is what it is. You have to be able to run the show, right?
Yeah, they
So
do a pretty damn good job. Like even like on the social media side, like they like after an event they'll post like like each
I
class and stuff.
yeah,
It's just
I agree.
they do what they can with it. I'll be really curious OSG this year. Like, is it gonna move? Are they gonna do regionals? Are they gonna do like solely an online qualifier? Are they gonna take away the like? They always kind of like you always hear like rumblings. At least I do about like things how they want to go completely to like regionals and bids and stuff like that. But I just don't see how that's feasible.
I don't think they'll ever go. This is obviously my opinion. I don't have any reason to believe otherwise, but I
Right.
don't think they'd ever go strictly to regionals just because there's that oddball chance that someone out there could be really good that they would miss out because they can't get to a regional.
For
And you
sure.
would hate to see that happen with the online qualifier being cut. So
Am I making this up or was this year's online qualifier 4 events?
it was four. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Yep.
That's cool. I hope they stick with
That's a
that
good
model.
thing.
I,
Yeah,
I I know it's more work clearly, but I hope they stick with that because you find the better athlete, in my opinion.
it's the better people you
So
get. Sure.
yeah. But yeah, that's I mean, it was a for me it was a bigger day in strongman with both those going on. It was fun to have like we're gonna be getting close to like strongman season kicking off.
Yep.
As the weather turns warm up
Right.
here for us, it
Yeah.
starts like the Arnold.
Yeah.
I think the Arnold kind of is like the kickoff to the season every year,
For sure.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, and honestly, that's all I have with that stuff. But we might be doing an emergency episode this upcoming week before Sunday. We might be double dipping if
Okay.
some news, you know the news, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
if the news happens that we're so
Yeah.
if
We'll see. We'll
yeah,
see.
I really really hope it happens, and I hope we can break some cool news to everyone.
Yeah.
Uh, but that's all I'll say about that. But
Right.
bridge is starting to fill up, which
Sure.
is cool.
Good. When's that? July
July
19th.
19th.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
just a reminder to anyone, I'm gonna look how many we have. I know we're like pushing 30 already, and we're still pretty far out, which is great. We got 6 months essentially.
Sure.
Uh, but um, just a reminder, we do have an arena this year, which is gonna be really cool. Um, and with the way that Strongman Corp does it is um no matter how many people are in a class, because like some of the less represented classes, if you win your open class, you get a bid to the Arnold. We do have
Yep.
the novice classes. They do have the um masters at the Arnold now, so that's an added bonus for there's not only Masters Nationals, there's Masters Arnold, so that's cool too. But yeah, so you can definitely tell there's Masters Arnold now because we already have five in the 40 plus for Masters,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
cool.
That's cool.
But yeah, hopefully we get some open classes. Like 231s only have one guy.
That'll
Which
go up.
will
Just give
be
it some time.
yeah. So if you're interested in signing up, definitely do so. We got really cool events. It's gonna be a good show. And yeah, that's really all I have.
And I
Uh,
also I also like that the Arnold's doing the pro am now, and it's being recognized. Is it being recognized at the World Championships?
yeah, it's not called the Amateur World Championships anymore. I just think it's like called like the Arnold Classic Pro Am World Championship or something like that.
Yeah, which
Something in that
I think
range.
that's good. I mean, because how many people have you heard say like, well, when you get your pro card, it's kind of like you kind of get handcuffed, right? Because um, you can only compete at Americas or pro ams, which unless you want to invest a lot of travel money to get to a pro show, you're kind of handcuffed unless you want to do USS. So I think that's a good thing, and I'm really looking forward to it. That's actually probably the main reason I want to make sure I go to the Arnold this year, is because I want to see I want to call it the amateur, but the pro am that Strongman Corp's putting on. So I think
Yeah.
it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm noticing a big push for pro-ams this year in America,
Sure.
which I think is cool. And I think if we get a steady, if Strongman Corporation can find like a steady, good like 5 to 6 pro-ams every year, it gives people an opportunity. There's obviously money. It kind of treats it as like like a pro circuit for pros where you're guaranteed this payout minimum. There's not going to be any questions. It's like,
Yep.
hey, it's going to be a $3,000 minimum for the podium. Kind of make if you're a pro or you're an amateur that's climbing the ranks, hey, I'm going to pick 2 or 3 pro ams and go and do them.
Exactly how I see it, and that's what I think people will do moving forward. The
Yeah,
only concern I have is that if there's too many pro ams, it might be too easy to get pro cards, and that could water it down too. So, I mean, I like the circuit idea though. I think there's 100% room for an in between. Like
yeah,
other
yeah,
than other than Nationals and Arnold, there is a room for an in between for people who are pushing to get to the American pro level.
right,
So that's a good thing. I like it.
for sure. But yeah, that's all I have for Ollie. I don't know if you have anything else.
That's really it.
Yeah.
So
All right. Well, hopefully we see you guys at some upcoming events. Let us know what your dream event is that you haven't got to do at a show too, because or an event that you got to do that was really cool. Because there's always like those random like awesome events,
For
like
sure.
risky to run, like the Zamboni arm over arm we're doing this summer. But
That would
like
be,
it'll be cool.
yeah,
So
for
yeah,
sure.
we will see you guys all next week. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.
Later.